same-sex couples in India have made their first step. That a hearing in India's Supreme Court itself is considered as victory for them, though government has refused to make a stance saying it is up to legislature to decide, and the church continues to term it against nature. After the landmark ruling in 2018, repealing a colonial-era law that put restrictions on LGBTQ, many couples are now waiting for the court to make yet another jump to the future.
Do we have the right? Like something happens to me, does he have the right to inherit? Something happens to him, do I have the right to inherit? No. So in the eyes of the law, whatever basket of rights marriage provides, which heterosexual couples completely take for granted, for us as same-sex couples, we did not have those rights.
The men have been together for a decade, but say they are just strangers in the eyes of the law, with few of the rights enjoyed by straight married Indians. There are more legal complications in the relationship than just meet the eye.
See, we have been in a relationship for more than 10 years now. We are the most important people in each other's lives. However, in the eyes of the law, we are nobody. We're just strangers, right? Tomorrow, if something happens to me, right, and I'm in a hospital and somebody needs to take medical decisions, he has no right to do that in the eyes of the law.
Unlike heterosexual couples, the rights and liberties of same-sex couples are limited, which creates technical and legal issues in their daily life. Despite the decriminalization of the same-sex relations by the court, many face discrimination and stigma. But the LGBTQ community continues to face resistance in the country of 1.4 billion people, including from church and other religious groups, and India's Hindu nationalist government.
You will not believe that our guest list, I took almost 6 months to plan our guest list, whom to call, whom not to call, right? And all the guests, I would say almost 90% of guests, they were in-house. They no need to go out, or the gate should be locked. There was police protection, there was bouncers, because we didn't want to take any risk. So when we say fear, yes, there is always, because we don't know how the society is going to react.
In the last decade, there have been many mainstream movies that depicted same-sex or homosexual marriages, which was hitherto unheard in the last several decades. Activists like Anjali Gopalan feel that the Supreme Court, even considering the matter of same-sex family legality, is a huge stride towards legalization of same-sex families.
If the Supreme Court is saying that we need to look at the right to marry, it's a big step forward. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed, because I remember when we first started the battle, I always used to say, I don't think I'll ever see it happen in my lifetime. But I did. And now I feel that I will see the right to marry happen in my life. What happened with the 2018 judgment is that homosexuality has been decriminalized, which means the community is no longer seen in the same bracket as criminals, which is murderers and thieves and all of that. However, no other rights have been granted to the community.
Same-sex unions and openly gay people have been targets of criticism and ridicule in the Hindu majority nation. Often convincing family members and peers about the relationship and its implications is very difficult in a highly prejudiced society. They are not even able to rent a place to stay. However, same-sex couples feel that they are not different from other families.
Marriage is not an act of procreation. Marriage is an act of two people who are in love, wanting to spend their life with love and responsibility and care for each other. Our household is as full of love as any other household, any other family in India is. We are what we are. We have been there, we are here, and we will continue to be here. And not only continue to be, but we will continue to flourish.
The Supreme Court has referred the matter of legality of same-sex families to a 5-judge special constitutional bench. It will determine whether recognition of same-sex marriage is valid under the Constitution. The next hearing is expected to take place in a month.
Today, the Honourable Court was pleased to issue the matter to a 5-judge bench for consideration, and the matter will next be taken up on the 18th of April. We remain very hopeful on a positive order from this Honourable Court, and we are very pleased that this matter has gone to a constitutional bench, as we consider it to be an issue of fundamental and constitutional rights.
The biggest hurdle in getting a recognition will be the conservative Hindu nationalist government, which told the Supreme Court that it was against same-sex marriage and that any change was up to Parliament, not the courts. LGBTQ rights in India have expanded in recent years, and if the current case is successful, the country would become only the second Asian jurisdiction, after Taiwan, to recognize same-sex unions. Many same-sex individuals such as Abhay are hopeful that the decades-long struggle would come to an end and they would be regarded as equals among other heterosexual families.
See, of course, you can never completely predict what the future is, but we are very hopeful. We have full faith in our country's judiciary, we have full faith in our country's constitution. So we are very hopeful, and we are definitely praying for the best.